Hij staat al aan? Right. Ja? Dit is met 2. Troy, zwaai jij naar mij? Zo 5 minuten? Alright. Zijn jullie de... Sorry. Welcome everybody. We have drinks afterwards. We have enough time to talk further. Welcome everybody to the Innovatie Café. Robert, can the sound a little bit, because I hear myself many times. Okay, so welcome to the Innovatie Café. Today we have like this special team and special guests. Our theme of today is inclusive communication. And for me, for the people who don't know me, I'm Charlotte Grun. I'm also a social designer based in Eindhoven in het Klokgebouw. And my studio is named Studio Oak. And actually there are 2 topics that I love to work on. One is health. And that's because my daughter has diabetes type 1. So health is like really important. And the other one is low literacy. I've done people research for the government, for het informatiepunt digitale overheid. I'm not sure if people know it. It's a punt in the libraries. And I spoke to many people who, well, suffer from low literacy. I find it a bit hard, but who have low literacy or find it hard to read and write. So I know I know a lot about how they feel, how they learn and how they interact. So I'm very pleased that we have this team today. Well, we will talk with our guests. They will talk about their projects. And afterwards we have some time for questions. So please feel free to ask questions. But first we will start with Jéssica.
Is Mijke the matchbot. Basically, what we figure out that here in the Eindhoven region, 8 out of 10 people that usually go and seek for help for financial problems, or if they want to find a place to practice the language, or maybe they are facing some problems with housing, and when they go in the first attempt in one of those places that we have in Eindhoven, they end up in the wrong place. And this is even more difficult if you don't understand the language or you face difficulties to understand the language. So this is why we come up with this matchbot. The idea is that you can chat with Mijke, and Mijke will help you to understand exactly what is your problem, and it will suggest you a place to go, and probably this person will help you and solve your issue. So I was really fast, right? I have 10 minutes to...
No. Take your time. Take your time.
So, and our goal is to make the information accessible for all of people in Eindhoven. Doesn't matter your level of literacy. And our focus is, of course, in people that often struggle with the language, reading and writing. But I believe that this tool will help anybody. Of course, also, it doesn't matter if you are native or if you are immigrant. I believe the information should be accessible for all. So this is our goal with Mijke.
How did you come up with the name Mijke?
Oh yes, this is interesting. So in the beginning, the project calls Met Mij, and the idea was to pick the hand of the people that needs help, and with me you can go and I will help you to solve and find the right place to go in a very accessible way. But we saw that it will be a bit strange to talk with an entity called Mijke. What is this? And then we put a face, Mijke. So Mijke is also, we try to play around with the name Mijke. And it's a very Dutch name as well.
True.
So this is why the name is Mijke.
Wow. Thank you. I have another question for you, because you also told me that we had a small conversation before, like what is your project about? And we also talked about Mijke. And the interface is actually in WhatsApp. Why is it in WhatsApp?
Yeah. Our target group are people between 60 and 40 years old, struggling with the Dutch language. And we saw that this target group is the most difficult to seek for help, especially because they face a lot of shame. And it's like, you should know where to go, you should find yourself your way to solve your problem. And we figure out that this group, they are online, and also the platform they use most is WhatsApp. So why not to use what they already have in their hands to put all the information and make the help more accessible for them.
Thank you, yeah. Does anybody have any idea how many people have low literacy? We have questions later. I will remember you. Does anybody has 1 out of 7 people has low literacy? That's quite a lot. I've always found that very shocking when I think about that number. I'm not sure if someone here is, but it depends on which language you're from or you speak. But yeah, it's many people. And your target group was from 40 to 60.
Yes, exactly.
And is it like Eindhoven? We have we divide it in two. You have sorry, I have to say it in Dutch. It's really funny to talk about this topic in English, because now I feel a little bit sometimes ashamed to not share the right words. But you have NT1, and that's when your Dutch is your first language. And then you have NT2, and then Dutch is your second language. So there's also a difference in approach for that.
Yes. Our focus with Mijke is primarily NT1 group, because I am expat, so Dutch is not my first my first language. So for me, it's easier to say I don't understand. Could you help me to understand this? But if it is your mother tongue, it's more difficult, and you feel more ashamed about it. So this is why the first group that we try to tackle is NT1, but of course it will be very useful for NT2 as well. Yeah. I would use Mijke.
You would use Mijke?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
But that's also because speaking the language is one thing, but finding the right information in the Netherlands is also a big challenge. I know that as a Dutch person, as a Dutch woman, but it's a big challenge, especially if you're not from here.
Yeah, of course we have Google and everything, but if you have something that can help you immediately and you don't need to, spend a lot of time searching and doubt if this is the right information or not, where to go, who can help me, it would be much more easy. Yeah.
Thank you. Jeroen, do you have a question for her? Just a small one.
Ooh, question. I think I turned it off.
Use your mic.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the question.
Okay.
I don't have a question yet. Yeah.
Well, it will come. Don't worry. Don't worry.
I already know Jessica, so I.
You already know each other.
Yeah.
That was the one question that I forgot to ask in front. How do you know each other?
Yes. So I have a startup called Tolkie, which is
No, it's fine. Go for it.
The introduction is natural in this place, but so I have a startup called Tolkie. We are developing software to make text more understandable, by also for people who are considered low literate, and we are in this Eindhoven area. We are situated at the TUE campus, where also Eindhoven Engine is also doing something with low literacy. So that's why we met already. Yeah. This is actually pretty scary, because this is our software, and we're doing a total redesign. And you are the first audience to see the new version, but I had to quickly make some screenshots to show something what we do. But this is actually pretty scary. Don't mind the text because the text is just bogus. I asked ChatGPT to just write a text because you need text to test on. So what we do, Tolkie, we started 3 years ago, and we wanted to use, with the idea to use technology to help low literate people. And what we developed is software that organizations can put on our website to help the visitors of their websites understand the text. And we sell this to governmental organizations, so municipalities, but also healthcare, so hospitals, also housing corporations, news organizations, so all kinds of organizations that have information that might be difficult for their target audience. And basically, there's always some part of your audience that has trouble reading because it's for housing corporations, for example, they have people who are not low literate and low literate. So there's always a part of your audience that might have trouble reading. And what we do is when we started this, we went to the library because in the library this is a good place to develop your language skills. You have training there. And the libraries we went to, they have volunteers, and they help people just to read texts. So together they read text, and when they stumble on a difficult word, they ask, well, what's this word? So they might spell it out, or then they might explain. So this word means that. So they give a definition. Otherwise,
It's part of the Taalhuis program, right?
Yeah. Or in some other case, it might just help to just read it out loud, so you know the words, but if you can't read them. I saw a lot of people using Google Translate just to translate the word, so they didn't understand the word and they translated it. And what we at Tolkie, what we tried is just mimic that volunteer. So make that into instead of a real person sitting next to you, adding these buttons to the website and adding software so that you can have that help when you need it the most, when you visit the website of your housing corporation or government or anything. So actually, and this is these are 3 screenshots. So on the left, there's 3. You see there's 3 buttons. So that's lace 4. So read aloud, explain words, and simple text. And the other ones are the 3. So here I need to move here. So here this shows a definition. So it's explains a word that might be difficult. This is a simple summary of the text, and this is the where the text gets read out loud and also highlighted so you can see where the text is. And actually, this is basically what we build and try to sell. So we have over 120 clients at the moment, but we are still a startup, still growing. So
Wow, thank you. And you were also the co-founder, huh, of Tolkie?
Yeah. So I started this 3 years ago with my co-founder Lawrence. I come from a background in journalism.
Thank you. That was the question I
yeah.
was looking for.
Yeah, so I have a background in journalism, and was always been one of the technical guy, and just tried this project as my project to basically step out of journalism a bit, do some development, but to still work with language, because that's what I know about.
We also had a small conversation about language, and you told me that writing easy language is more difficult than writing difficult language.
Oh,
I find that very interesting.
Yeah, but so for the Dutch people or people who know the Jeugdjournaal, so the Dutch news broadcast for children.
Kids. Yeah.
It's much harder to make items about Ukraine or because they make items on very difficult topics, but it's very hard to explain a difficult topic in simple words. Because when you don't have to use simple words, you could use jargon, maybe use words that you don't even totally understand yourself, right? You can just, and the other one listening says, oh yeah, I understand it. But you can just step over that and hopefully everyone understands. But if you have to make it simple and have to explain really make sure that the other person understands what you're saying, that's very difficult. Yeah.
That will be like really something interesting to tell a person who has low literacy. We call them in the Netherlands, you have this group of people, we call them taalambassadeurs. They are people who used to have low literacy and came to school went to school and worked on their, reading and writing. And what they do, they are like ambassadors for people to inform that you don't have to be ashamed about it, that you can really help. And one of the things they told me is that one of the things when they went to school and started read and write is that it opens up their world. Because if you are good at reading and writing, you have no idea how much effect it has on your daily life. So I interviewed this woman that went to the hospital with a sick child, and she got 2 bottles of pills. And still at this day, she has no idea if she mixed them up or not. And these are like really scary things. Or if the supermarket changes the interior and everything moved, or your favorite food has a different package, that is like totally stress moment. So it has a big effect on your life, and it's not only connected to reading and writing, but it's also connected to health and also money, education. So you have different chances, or maybe, I'm not sure to say less chances in life, but the chances are different. So it has a major impact.
Yeah, and the thing is that low literacy or these lack of language skills have always been there. So that's 40 years ago there was the same problem. But the thing is that now society is becoming more digital, and you can't go to the bank anymore with your, what's it called, accept giro, so the Dutch, this thing where you can transfer money on paper. You have to use an app, or you have to go to a website. So your language skills are much more needed at this time, and so you can't just you have to. You can survive basically without basic language skills, but a lot of people have to. Yeah.
True. You had a question. Yeah. Maybe you can. Are you Dutch or English? Where are you from? What's your name?
Hi, I'm Aurore. I'm from France.
Oh, maybe you can ask a question in Dutch.
Ja. Nederlands is mijn derde taal. Maar ik voel nu best comfortabel. Ik woon hier voor best lang ook. Zo. En mijn vraag... Eerst was een idee, omdat je had iets gezegd over WhatsApp. En ik dacht, maar de interessant deel van WhatsApp is dat het is ook iets dat iedereen gebruikt. En dat maakt een tool die niet stigmatiserend is. Omdat, het is niet een extra ding die je kan schamen van krijgen of zo. Misschien mijn vraag is meer een general. Wat is de rol van de stigma of de niet-stigma in jullie werk? Ja.
Did everybody understood the question? In the audience? Yeah? No? The question was, I thought it was quite interesting to talk about language, even we all speaking English here. And we all understand the English. But if you speak in your second language, it's always a bit scary. Or even in your third language. But the question was, what is your stigma?
I can do it again. No, but it was a bit long. I was the first thing is I was interested about the medium to use WhatsApp, because I thought, but that's something everybody uses. So you just remove stigmatization from the tool because the tool is integrated in something everybody knows. And then my question was, I said the role, but it's not the role. What is where stigmatization or the opposite comes into your work, basically. So is there a moment that you think, we're going to make this decision in place of this one because this is going to be more integrated? Yeah.
If I please correct me if I don't understand, but it's the role that why I choose this tool. And why is not stigmatizing for the target group? Oh yeah. The first idea actually of MetMay would be to create something from scratch, like a new app, actually a new game to learn the language. And then through my journey during the research and talking with real people that suffer with that every day, I realized that my point of view, of course, my way of tackling this problem is they need help to solve their problems, their daily problems. And what could we do to make it more accessible for them? So if they already use WhatsApp, why not use WhatsApp? You know, I will not create just a new app because I am a visual designer and I like to do it, you know. What is important for my user, the person that will use this? So this is why I choose WhatsApp. And of course, this is just one tool. We want to be in more social media because our target group is online. So I don't know how, but maybe have a Mijke on TikTok or something like that. So to make even more accessible.
Yeah, if I might add to that. So that what I learned is that also a lot of people who are low literate also are digitally low literate. And they not maybe lack the skills, but also are very scared to do something wrong, to click on something because they might get a virus or open a chatbot and might have to talk back, etc. So you have to. There's a lot of insecurity, and it's a big hurdle to overtake, and that's also the reason why because also we get a lot of feedback. Well, why don't you make an app for this? Why do people have to go to the website of another organization to get help, but why not on their phone? But there's a big hurdle for that to install it, because you need language to explain how to install it, for example, or to show how to use it. So
Yeah.
that's one of the things also I learned. That's a lot of I think there's hardly a harder group to reach than low literate people, because language is the issue in itself. So.
Well, it's not only language, it's also the ashamed.
Yeah.
I was always, the first question I asked the library was, why do you think that people who are bad at reading and writing go to the library to ask for help? I don't get that. I find that fascinating, because I spoke to many people, low literate people, and they said, I see the library as a pile of books. It just makes me feel like I don't know where to look. It's totally confronting. But if you look, so I always find that very interesting. Like, it's very hard to go there and ask for questions.
Yeah. It's like sending a vegetarian to
Well,
a farm or
I
something.
always use the guy who has problems and has to go to a prostitute to talk about his problems. But yeah, it's a bit the same. Yeah, I have a question. Yes. Who are you and what is your question?
My name is Roland Biemans. I have a question related to this, but so my godfather suffered a stroke. So then the portion of the language is largely gone, but gone because he can't speak it. And there are certain areas that he can do, but he's also now partially paralyzed. In your software, do you then also look at solutions where it's a combination where people suffer from, let's say, the hindrance of not getting the words, but also maybe making it easier for them to operate something? Very simple example. He wants to listen to music. He starts up Spotify, and that's already really difficult. Then finding the words to put that in there, let alone posting something on Facebook about the music itself or what he wants to know about it, makes it really difficult. So the integration of your tools, can they be, let's say, more inclusive to other platforms, or addressing that question of people that have that stroke problem type thing? Yeah, actually for both, because it's the same type of sort of interaction with people that might have the impediment of really using speech.
Yeah, so we are in the accessibility space, right? In our case for language, but we are also working very hard to make our tool as user-friendly as possible, and to lower the barriers to use it. So also for when you are focused on a keyboard user or when you are visually impaired, we try to incorporate that as much as possible as well. I think where we, as a company and with our software, we want to try to help where we can, and it would be great if we could help also in other places than the place we currently help. But it's also a matter of time, energy, money, etc. But it's very interesting because it's the spectrum of difficulty with reading, for example, or with using technology. It's very broad spectrum. So it's there's lots of ways that people have trouble with this. This is another example. But we can't help everyone at once. But it's very interesting. Yeah.
And for you, Jéssica?
Yeah, I agree with Jeroen. It's a very broad spectrum, and for instance, with Mijke, we are implementing now the audio feature, so you don't need to read and write to talk with Mijke, but still you need to speak. So, but I believe maybe in the future with AI or new technologies that will come up, we will be able to develop tools to be more and even more accessible to include all the groups. But I believe for now, Mijke, I think it will not be possible to chat with Mijke if you don't speak or if you don't type. But of course, in the future, maybe we can have a technology that you just connect something and with your thoughts you can speak. The future is amazing. I believe with technology we can have a lot of different things.
Yeah. Can you maybe describe what simple language means to you? So I guess different people need different simplifications. So what are the complexities people are struggling with? And is there indeed one solution that fits all, or do you maybe need for different groups of people different versions of simple language?
Yes, well, no, there's not one solution that fits all. We try to have one to bundle them in. We bundle different solutions into one thing as much as possible. But no, we can't have it all. And so, for like I said, someone is. The text-to-speech functionality, so when the text gets read out loud, that helps a lot of people, but you have to be pretty proficient in the language in the first place, but aren't able to read it maybe. But if you don't know, so if your Dutch is your second language, you're maybe need other help like a translation or so. So we try to bundle stuff, but it's very hard, and it's also very hard to differentiate. So there's no for example, what a difficult word is for one person might not be a difficult word for another. So it's very hard to. So that's also the reason why we make our help as broad as possible. So we don't only summarize the text, but we also have all the other functionalities. That's the reason.
I think you can help with this, Hans?
Oh, yeah. Yes, my name is Hans Mari from Utrecht University. I'm a researcher, and so I'm interested. I like these AI tools being developed to assist low literates, and indeed one of the big problems is reaching low literates. So you have a lot of data now available with these websites. So I'm interested, do you actually see how often a person clicks on a simplified text? How often does person click on read aloud? Do you see percentages that are similar to what we find? Like, is it indeed 1 in 7 of the users that are clicking?
No, it's very much lower, and the reason for that is that people didn't come to the website before this. So there's a chicken and egg problem that people first have to come to the website. If they came 3 years ago, they might got disappointed, and so there's what I learned as well is that people just are hesitant to just visit the website because they know, I won't even start because it's too much. Also, when they see a lot of people, when they see a letter, I don't even start with, I'll ask my neighbor or something because so they don't even start. So the numbers are pretty low actually. So luckily we don't need a conversion rate or something, so we don't have to sell something because the conversion rate is pretty low. But we hope that by helping people, people are learn that they can find that they now can get help in some way. It's not perfect, but we try to help make them small steps.
And would you share your data with Hans for the research?
If he's interested, yeah.
My name is Jan de Brok. I work for Eindhoven Engine, so I know Jéssica well. So my question is that is actually triggered by this discussion. So and also your remark that it's really hard to put something in easy language. So you could also say that then the high literate people, and I'm probably one of those, are just the lazy bastards, right? So then that would suggest that if we make a website, then we better have a button to translate to complex language, right? And we should start with simple language. So is that, you having a startup and having customers, is that something that your customers would consider? And now I'm assuming that your customers are the ones who make the websites, right?
Yeah. So it's an interesting question because we also get asked a lot. Well, is it if people just buy your software, then they don't have to care about the website anymore because we make everything simple, but it's not that. Yeah, even more lazy. Yeah. That's also so what we advise our customers just to write at a B1 level. That's the basic level. Also for Dutch governments that they have to provide their information in this level so that a large part of the society can understand it, and then we will try to target on the group that has trouble reading those texts. Also because if you make it more simple than that, then other people will not read it anymore. So I come from journalism. So if you write, so Nu.nl, it's a big news online news outlet in the Netherlands. They did experiments with that, and basically they wrote too complex text. They already knew that, or at least some part of the organization knew that. So they did some tests, and basically everyone, or 95% of their audience, liked B1 text. So they like the text to be more simple. But if you go below that, then a lot of people will go elsewhere, because then and you also sometimes need complex words, because for example, I could find a synonym for a gynecologist. Gynecologist is a very difficult word to pronounce, to also read, to write, etc. But it is the word that's on the signs in the hospital. So if you use an alternative, then those don't match anymore. So you can't always evade difficult words. I hope that more or less answers your question. Yeah.
Interesting.
But it's interesting to start to make text. I haven't tried large language models, so can you make this more complex? So that's an interesting approach. Yeah.
Hello, my name is Chaka Spierings. I'm a software engineer. But my question is about a friend of mine who works with people who get their homes renovated. They live in rent-controlled homes, and they are really old, and this building company is putting solar panels and heat pumps and all these difficult things into their houses. And my friend, she makes documents, letters, which she really tries to put in B1, because these people, they don't understand. Often they don't get out of the house. They don't have a lot of Dutch friends because they don't speak the language, and they live in a difficult situation. Can they use your app from the other side, from the business side, to make simpler letters?
Yeah, they can. Like we have the software that still shows here with the city text, but we also have software that helps writers to write more simple text, so to know what the words to replace or sentences to simplify. Yeah, so we also have software for that. Yeah.
I think that you find each other during drinks.
Yeah.
I think that's
also
interesting.
just a tip for reading letters. There's the Lees Simple app in Dutch. It's also a very helpful app to just scan a letter and then understand what it's about and what you should do.
Yeah, I'm Wesley. I'm a software engineer, and I have a question for Jessica. And because I'm an expat as well, and sometimes when I have issues and I need to ask for help, as Dutch is not my first language, it's difficult for me to find the correct words to explain my issues. So it's a struggle for me to express myself and put my problem into real words. And if I go to make it with a problem like this, probably I would formulate the wrong sentence and maybe I would get the wrong help. How does Mijke handles this kind of things? Because a low-literate person, maybe it doesn't have the correct vocabulary to express correctly or accurately the problem. So how does this tool is helping in that sense?
Yeah, the goal of Mijke is to reach two goals actually. The first one is to help you to elaborate your request, because during research that we did, we realized that people, they don't know exactly what is the problem. So it's kind of, I don't know why I cannot pay all my bills and I don't know what is happening. So you don't know exactly what is your problem. And we realized that it would be interesting to use large language model to make this question and answer and help you to understand what is your problem. And also using large language model, we already tested with the people from the target group. They wrote the word wrong, and the system was able to still understand and also check like, you are saying this. I think in the picture you can see an example of a chat that a person had. It's okay, it's not here, but the person put like, change some words, and yeah, you can see waar kan ik help zoeken voor een vriend, and you can type wrong, you don't need to be perfect, and Mijke will understand and also help you to understand as well what is your problem, where you should go to solve your problem. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's actually an interesting thing about large language models. I use them a lot for coding because I'm a journalist and not a developer, but I try to be. But I always think, well, this is actually a really stupid question, but it gives a great answer because you don't. And that's also a nice thing about an app, that if you know that's a robot, so it's not a real person, then you feel more freely to just use the wrong word or make mistakes or incorrect spelling, etc.
Yeah. And also we did some tests with users, and one of them, he said like, oh, it's really nice because you can ask dumb questions, you know. There's no dumb questions. You can just ask because you need help. So this is...
The bot doesn't sigh or get bored
Yeah,
or
exactly.
look away or...
Yeah.
Say like duh or whatever. Yeah.
Actually,
No.
that was something that also they mentioned. It's like, it's good because Mijke is very patient, so you can ask again and you can check if this is the information. So it's good. It's a good friend that you can have in your pocket.
Oh, that's nice.
Does the question about that? Does Mijke also ask back to check whether the user understood the answer. So, for example, because it might be important to know whether the message you send is received in the right way, right? So, does Mijke also does this double check questions or?
Actually, it does during the conversation. So, for instance, if you type or you put a word that it's not completely clear, then Mijke, you say like, okay, you want to this, or that. And then that could be a way to check what the person wants, you know, even if the system doesn't understand correctly, but it gives some options, then the person can say, it's this one, yeah.
You told me in our conversation before that you started from scratch. So you did many research before you came to Mijke, before you came with up the idea. What was one of the most surprising thing, or just one surprising thing that you find out doing that research? Something that you didn't know, something that, I don't know.
I think for me the most impressive was the big number of social organizations that we have. Only in Eindhoven, like almost 200 places to help people, to help them to develop basic skills, and why this is still happening, you know, why we still have this problem of low literacy. And that was like the thing that made me think like we should make this match more correct, because we already have a lot of places and people eager to help. So we just need to help people that need the help to find a place. I think that was the most interesting thing.
Hi, I'm Kalina and I'm a foreigner. So let's say that I've been confronted a lot with the educational system and also the administration when it comes to dual, like student financing. Let's be clear, everything is about money. So my question is, because you have found a gap in the market and also I think in the educational system, why do you think those gaps are created? Is it because the educational system fails at some point, or do you think that not a lot of importance is given to the low literacy, even though we're living in a very digital, like we're very digitally alert and aware society right now? Both. I think both, because at the end of the day, you tackle one big problem, maybe in a different way, but still you tackle the issue of low literacy.
So about this large group of people not being helped before, I think it's just because they were not on the radar, because they're not very vocal, because that language is the issue here. So that's also it's also. Well, it's easy to say. So, we have a brochure for this, or it's on the website. All the information is on the website. So it's a nice excuse to give. And now there's more. Luckily, in society, there's more. It's more focus on this. But before, you could just say, well, have you read the website? So it's So and then you can shove off your issues easily. I thought journalism, so I worked at a journalism school, and we always thought, well, we have this internet, all the information is there, why don't the students read this? But this also probably means that we have to give better classes. So it's an easy excuse for a lot of people. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Natasha. I'm wondering, you've both touched upon it a few times, that it's hard to reach this audience. And I also have a friend, she works with people like this in Tilburg, and she says, and then there's another campaign, and they think, well, let's put it on the bushokjes. But it's language. So do you have any experience how to reach people for this target audience?
Good question.
Yeah. So actually we have a student that is working on this currently. But of course we can have, for instance, Mijke, Holland for Expat can promote Mijke for the newcomers or the municipality as well. And you don't need to have like text. You can just show like, oh, this is the contact of Mijke, and you can chat with her. But indeed, it's a very difficult to reach, and maybe also one thing that we believe that people will share this contact with friends and everything, and this could be a way to make Mijke known between all the people. But yeah.
Doctor. And then if people have trouble reading or with the language, they take like a friend or a child or whoever with them. So I can imagine that indeed it goes via to the...
Yeah, people won't. So if you can make a nice campaign that you should go to the library, for example, but then you have to show to other people that you have a problem, and there's a lot of shame. I heard of a person, a man who had a family, and he read the newspaper every morning, and he told his family, well, what's going on in Ukraine? Wow, man, etc. So he discussed with them the news, but the evening before he watched the evening news, so he could do as if he could read the newspaper for his own family members. So he was ashamed within his own family. So there's a lot of shame because everyone can read and write. Right? Yeah, you've been to school, you can read, right? Yeah, but a lot of people don't. So there's a lot of shame, and the question you ask is the $1 million question in this, because all governmental organizations who are somewhat concerned with this is their problem, how to reach this group.
Yeah. Hans, do you have anything to add to that? Or I'm just surprising you now with this question.
Yeah, but I think we're thinking of two means of speech, right? So can you identify person problem reading? We have different type of speech. Can we use machine learning to predict this person's problem so that we can automatically reach out to people without stigmatizing,
Yeah.
providing help? That's what we are trying to.
Yeah, but also in the interviews that it was always a person, like a doctor that they trust, or a sister-in-law that helped them overcome to go to school again. So it was most of the time a person that really helped.
And also,
We have many questions now.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, so I'll make it short. So I had first the same question that just popped in, and now I hear what you're saying about how to reach out and about, you need somebody close, but it is really hard. Sometimes this is not always the case. So I'm actually really curious about how you're going to approach TikTok. Because maybe there is potential, because that's probably for the new generation. So I don't know about the other, maybe a little bit less young people. So my question is gone.
What
Yes.
was your question?
No, it was the same as
Okay. Don't worry. We had a question.
Yeah, my name is Hans. I'm living. I'm Dutch. I was living 20 years abroad. Coming back last year, I had a brain insult, so same as your father. So I had difficulties with talk, especially in audience. So I recognize a lot about the problems. What I also see is that the Netherlands becomes very complicated, because everything goes digital. There is no person anymore helping somebody. It's only, and I have to read a lot, and now I'm already 2 months working to get, let's say, access to a car. Because somehow you notice that you only can read, let's say, an app, and the app refers you to a call center. The call center asks you every you have a problem. They answer every 2 weeks. So it is. So I think there is. I don't know whether your apps will help me, but it could. Society gets also very complicated, and the human factor is out. So somewhere I think that I don't know whether the system is helping in that, and that would like your reaction on that.
Thank you. Very good question. Or maybe Jessica? Is your mic there?
Yeah.
No, you go for it, Jessica.
Oh, yeah, go.
Okay.
Shall I answer it or? Yeah, this is a bit, so we are not going to solve this all, at least with Tolkie. Maybe Jessica is, but so we're not going to solve this. So it's not a one way. No, there's no one solution. So yeah, also organizations have to be open to contact in different ways than only through email or chat or filling in a form, for example. Because talking to a real person allows you to explain your question more, and so yeah, no, it's not an excuse to.
The less there are really people involved, yeah, the more difficult their problem becomes. So I don't know how we could, let's say, get more people involved in the problem instead of more technology.
I'm not sure what the follow was, but I'll try. Oh, I'll go for it.
Yeah, just to get back on your question, I think also the research that we did pointed to interesting thing that it's already a bit in the term that we use. So low literate is pointing towards the person that lacks a skill, right? But if you talk with people, at least that's the experience we have, then their goal is not necessarily to be better at reading and writing. Their goal is to solve problems. So I think we were at least, but not successful enough, but we were successful, more successful in finding those people through their problems and not so indeed, and then things like health problems, financial problems. So that's the kind of detour to find people who suffer from it. But I think it tells a lot about how we actually phrase the problem, right? And then I tend to agree with you that the systems we make are getting more and more difficult. And then it's really easy to shove that to people that didn't make the system, right? So, yeah.
Thank you. The question in the back. Sorry, I didn't see you.
Hi, I'm Tom. Maybe by giving an example about what Hans was also talking about. They once had a research about people who are driving contractors, so self-employed contractors for carpenters or plastering. In Dutch they call the mannen in the witte bushes, so in the white vans that drive around and do construction work. They found out that there was a high level of low literacy, but they couldn't get a grip on it. So what they found out that they go to their accountant and say, "Hey, accountant, I got another letter. I'm going to drink some coffee with you. Can you explain to it?" So how do you get those people? So they have their own way of working around it, but still they have the same problem. So how do you going to tackle those people to find a solution for it? Because they found their own solution.
But yeah, I think it's also the question. So if you found we all create workarounds about something because nobody is Superman, at least I think. For some part, I think, if you create workarounds, that's fine, because I don't know finance as well. So I use an accountant as well for my difficult questions. I can read the letter, but I don't always understand what it says. So to some respect, it's also fine, I think. It's only a problem when it becomes a problem, right? When you walk and hit a wall or something where you can't go further, or when your health is involved, or there's a lot of stress with this with a lot of people because they don't understand the information. So then there's a problem. Then you need help. But
it's not only the stress that exists for not understanding the information, it's also the stress for keeping up appearances. I spoke to this guy who has I'm not sure what his work was, but he had to sign contracts, create contracts and sign it. So the whole day he was memorizing everything that people were saying to him. And when he came home, his wife could write, she would write all the contracts. So he actually had like 2 jobs. So he was during the day memorizing, talking to people, going there, going to meetings, and then at night they were working together to write it down. And he did that for 12 years. So the enormous of stress that was constantly going on is incredible. You cannot even imagine, at least I cannot imagine. Well, after he was released, because he learned, it was not that he was not intelligent, because he could memorize like everything, every detail. But after he learned how to write it himself, he said it was open up his world. He said, I felt like much lighter, everything was much easier for me, because, and I had so much time left to do different things, because he had like 2 jobs doing that. Yeah. And his wife as well, yeah. You had a question.
Yeah. Hi everyone, I'm Paul. I'm a builder myself, so my question is coming from the practicality standpoint. How do you approach the current development of language models and AI, and also the voice search functionality? I think it's a question applicable for both of you, and I'm curious what you think on that. Thanks.
I think we use them both. So we use the technology. And there will be, so for us, I think that's maybe different for Mijke, but for us, in some year, in a few years, we will be, because everyone, we will become obsolete, at least in what we currently do, because the technologies are integrated into the devices like the phones, etc., and they are accessible and really easy to use, because that's the hurdle. Yes, there's you have this ChatGPT app where you can talk to and get answers back, but there's a big hurdle for people to trust it and also to use it. So yeah, we use the large language models. But some. We will become obsolete, at least what we currently do, but not in the next few years, I think, and I hope.
And I think regarding the quality, if we can say like that, for instance, when we talk with Siri or any other agent, a few years ago, you feel like, oh, you cannot understand me, it's hard. And imagine if you have a very strong accent in your own language, it's really difficult. We have a lot of memes in Brazil because of that. So in Portuguese, and some agents could not understand. But I think now it's even more accessible for people as well. So in one way, I think it will be more smoother, all of this communication that we can have with large language model, because more people are using, so we are training with different kind of accents, and you can see with ChatGPT, for instance. With Mijke could understand when you type wrong, or also if you use a strong accent in the audios. So I believe in the future it will be more accessible. Of course, there is all the privacy and this kind of concerns, but I believe it will be very interesting in the future to explore this, to make information more accessible, and of course solve problems with that. Yeah.
I think it's something that you wanted to reflect on it, huh? But we will have drinks afterwards. We're a bit getting out of time, so I have only time for one question, and that's for you, but also because you were always drawing everything down, and that will make things also a summary of what was for our Innovation Café today.
Okay. Thank you. My name is Hans, and yes, yeah, that's it. Gans, huh? Yes, yeah. The whole evening I've heard about sending and trying to reach people, but a very important part of communication is listening. And listening can be divided into active listening and passive listening. And I think that the personal factor, so the human being, should be at the beginning to listen carefully to the questions people have. I mean, active listening means paraphrasing, do you mean this or do you mean that? And in my experience, I have never met a bot or a chatbot of any kind which didn't frustrate me to the extreme, because they are circular in their reasoning. They always come back to the same thing. And that's because they don't manage to actively listen or listen at all. So I think that it would be interesting to put a lot of focus on how can we listen better to what people have in questions.
Thank you, Hans. Thank you.
Cannot understand me, and but this is why we are constantly testing and improving, of course, our model. And we have in the team as well 2 people that is from the target group. They struggle with the language, and also they provide input on everything that we are developing there. So our goal is to be a different chatbot. Even in the name we use matchbot. So it's to be a friendly bot and not another one that cannot understand what I am saying and I will throw away. So, but this is our end goal. So,
thank you. That was actually the question that we prepared as last question. What would be your end goal? You already answered it. And for you, Jeroen, short and simple. Challenge for you.
One of my end goals is just to build a healthy company. We don't have to become a new Facebook-like company, but and also to be. I think we have still steps to make to really help people. So we explain difficult words, for example, but do we really get people through this text and fill in this form, etc. So that would be my end goals. If we can actually prove and show that we can really help people and overcome all these hurdles.
Thank you.
Short enough?
Yes, thank you. And very simple. Thank you. Give a big applause for Jeroen and Jéssica. And sorry I couldn't we couldn't ask all the questions, but luckily we have drinks, so please continue asking all the questions. And the next Innovation Café will be the 27th of April. Is that right? Oh. Okay, we will announce one.
That's a nice question, because it's a holiday. Well, would you like to come during the holiday? Is it a problem? And if 24th is who would like to come when it's 24th of April? Okay, yeah, but yes, I will try.
So watch our social media channels that we know when the new Innovation Café is, and the website. And thank you very much for coming, and enjoy your drinks. Thank you.